Doctor Who has long been associated with hiding behind the sofa, cowering from monsters, and Halloween as a seasonal holiday has a reputation of dressing up as scary monsters. So the two feel like a natural fit together in a way, don't they? But it's not happened all that often on TV or audio. I mean, you've got the Halloween Apocalypse recently at the start of Flux, and Scream of the Daleks certainly stands out on audio. But until now, we've not had like a proper Halloween special. And this set gives us four of those in the form of Sea Smoke, Party Favors, Bramble King, and Merlin's Trap. What did we make of these?
It's an interesting bunch, isn't it? Because I think we've wanted a box set like this for a long time. Because Big Finish normally do, a Christmas story, and that makes sense.
Usually in one of their ongoing ranges, don't they? Like the Eighth Doctor Adventures recently had In the Bleak Midwinter, which was a whole set of festive stories, but all very much entwined with the ongoing Eighth Doctor arc. Whereas here and in the Christmas set we've got coming up, It's a Wonderful War and Other Stories, it's a anthology based set where it's not just Doctor Who anthology stories, it's Whoniverse anthology stories, because with one of these you get just Kate and Osgood from Unit. But the first story is The First Doctor and Dodo.
Yes, Sea Smoke. I think that this, of the four stories, is probably the most traditional Doctor Who story. It's the most meat and potatoes Doctor Who story. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because I had a really good time with it. Because you have the first Doctor and Dodo arriving on a Scottish island where there's this new sort of cult being sort of formed, with burning kelp, and there's this big beast of an entity starting to form within. I think that this, in terms of horror and Halloween, it's going for the H.P. Lovecraft cosmic gothic type threat here. And I think it's a pretty solid little adventure, really, for what it's worth.
It's going body horror as
Yeah,
well, I think. And you definitely get that coming across very well in the sound design,
yeah, it's really
particularly.
grisly.
Yeah, all that stuff is done wonderfully. But for me, it sort of lacks in other horror areas. Like, there's very much this idea of the Doctor and Dodo being outsiders on this island. But I don't think the unnerving factor of that is explored enough. I think that could have been pushed a lot more. These townsfolk could have been made so much more alien and weird. You could have really pushed that side of things. A bit like the Defectors did
Hmm.
back in 2015 now, Seventh Doctor and Joe Grant's story, written by Nicholas Briggs. Like, I think that had the Doctor and Joe turning up on an island and things just not being right. Maybe it's a consequence of this story being only 1 hour.
I think there's a lot
Uh,
of ideas what you could, flesh out, like this whole new cult sort of forming, like the whole religious idea. And I think maybe for me, I'd quite like this story to be set maybe a couple more 100 years back in the past,
hmm.
just to
Whereas
really
I
get that
had
religious
I
aspect.
had the
Yeah.
opposite thought, funnily enough. I thought maybe making it more contemporary, not quite, 2020s, but 1940s, 50s, 60s, that era. And I think pushing the idea of this, religious cult very much being an outlier in many ways, how, often these islands do feel a bit more like stepping back in time where they're more cut off from the world. I think you could have pushed that angle a lot more if it was set more contemporary. But at the same time, I can see your argument there for pushing it further back instead.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's another classic horror trope, isn't it? Isolation, remote world cut off from,
Mm.
the mainland and stuff. And I think first Doctor, Stephen Noonan, only but praise. We like him around here. We love him. Great friend of ours, and yeah, does a stellar job within this, and same with Lauren Cornelius. I think she's a nice sort of punchy driving force within it.
She
And
gets her own little arc in it as well, doesn't
yeah,
she?
which is
About
nice.
being her own woman.
Hmm.
And I think that quite nicely ties in with the threat as well in the overall story. That has a nice little conclusion to it, I think. But, yeah, I mean, the highlight for me, though, is Jeff Rule as Reverend Robert Drummond, the villain
Oh,
of the piece.
deliciously evil and
Yeah,
camp.
he's given it his all, and yeah, it's just a shame that he ended up being hidden under a voice distortion towards the end. I
Hmm.
think the performance in itself is so rich and so entertaining to listen to that, yeah, it does feel a shame that you couldn't experience that properly towards the end of the story. As I mean, spoiler that we've mentioned body horror, we've mentioned
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
transformations, we've said he's the main villain. You can put two and two together, but yeah, it unfortunately the voice distortion there sort of doesn't do the performance justice really. But when early on in the story, when it is just him, my goodness, it's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and I think it gives Steve Noonan something wonderful to bounce off of there as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can tell he steps up his game a little bit against Jeff Rule, and
Yeah.
it, yeah, comes out very well for both parties, I think.
Speaking of parties, Party
Ooh, good
Favors,
segue.
thank you, by Georgina Cook, is a Kate and Osgood story on the surface.
Hmm.
Spoilers, it's actually quite a Kate and Osgood light story by the end of it.
Yeah, it's more about this couple who are planning their Halloween party while also going through a bit of a fragmentation in their relationship. And so there's sort of this idea that maybe this party will bring them back together, or maybe it will tear them apart. There's weeping angels involved, so they've got something to say about it too. And I'm just gonna say it's my favorite of the set. I think.
I think this is the one what embraces the theme of Halloween, maybe because it's a Halloween party, but I think this is one where it just goes, yep, this is a Halloween story. I think the other stories in this set aren't kind of there. I think this is the one where it's like, bam, this is Halloween, scary, spooky. Because the Weeping Angels within this, it's got the classic tropes. It's got them
Hmm.
using, dead people's voices. It's got them threatening, I will snap your neck and stuff like that. It's probably one of the best uses of the Weeping Angels on Big Finish.
I think so. It does something else as well, which is I won't reveal, but it's extremely creepy. It
It's
was the
dark.
moment in the set that creeped me out the most. Like it goes dark when that reveal happens. Yeah, I think this it's my favorite partly because I mean it's so well written, so well structured, but also it is the one that actually creeped me out and was scary. That's sort of the promise of this set, and I don't think the other stories quite lived up to that promise. This one really does. And I think, the Halloween party setting, while also being a very scary story that uses that party to its advantage, yeah, it all comes together very nicely. And the main two characters in this, who aren't Kate and Osgood, they're Bev and Annika, they are very well written, very well realized.
They're
They
so
feel like,
three-dimensional. I think
mm,
the way Georgia Cook has captured a relationship with it's not all sunshine and roses. You're gonna have these times where you're arguing and disagreements. And I think that it puts that relationship at the center of it. And I think it's such a good reading of a relationship. It just
yeah,
really sells everything what happens to these two characters involving the Weeping Angels and their flat. And it's just really beautiful character drama with some nice scares within it.
yeah. I think Bev in particular, I really liked her as a character. She's just a character that you can get along very well with. You notice flaws there as well, but they're the sort of flaws that you enjoy in a character, yeah, I think wonderful performance there. And yeah, would not mind seeing Liv Andrusia. I think could be potential companion material, Big Finish. Really did enjoyed that performance in particular in this story. It stole the show. And yeah, I mean, the Weeping Angels as well, they don't quite have a voice as such. They steal a few voices throughout the story, and those are all brilliantly done. They're very creepy performances when they are in it, but the presence of the Weeping Angels is felt throughout this story, whether it's the shifting of the stone, the jump scares, one being in an art studio mistaken for a sculpture. It's got it all with the Weeping Angels. And
the drawings.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like about this
Deep.
story.
It's
it sort of subverts what you think the threat's going to be. You think it's going to be like maybe like fairies or something from like Torchwood. And then you get, like you say, the sculpture and you're like, oh, we're doing the Weeping Angels. This is pretty cool. Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah. And then we get some Eighth Doctrinal Audacity here. And if you're wondering, how does this work? Because Charlie came back on pretty early in their adventures, and there wasn't a gap in that first set for the Doctrinal Audacity to go off on their own. Don't worry, it's explained. Yeah, Charlie's just chilling back in Baker Street, isn't she?
Yeah, she didn't want to see a spooky film. I think, is it The Living Dead or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a nice way that this story opens. It's the Doctrinal Audacity going back in time to watch a horror movie before getting caught up in one of their own as they stop into deep space for Bramble.
Yeah. I loved that scene between 8 and Audacity. It's just that classic TV movie McGann full of life, and yeah, I think that's great. And I think Bramble King is a story that promises, like, I mean, just the title, Bramble King, you think it's doing this sort of folklore, folk horror. It doesn't do that. It's more going for the psychological trauma of war instead, which is a little bit of a shame because I think it's a Halloween box set. Give us a folklore, folk horror story.
I mean, it does still kind of have that, but with that more sci-fi twist on it. And
Yeah.
I do like what this story has to say about, conscription and the life of these soldiers, what they're going through, and what war can do to people and families. But yeah, overall, I don't think the scares were quite there with this one.
I think Audacity, great character work. It's very, if you like Audacity in the first box set, you'll like her here because it's very much that same characterization here.
You get more characterization for Audacity, more development than you do get in some of her ongoing Eighth Doctor adventures, which feels, not wrong as such, just a bit odd.
Yeah.
Like, it does feel pretty essential, not plot-wise for the ongoing Audacity and Charlie adventures. Like, you're not going to miss out on anything or be confused story-wise. It just feels like there's a good bit of tapping into who Audacity is as a character and using that within this story and exploring some stuff that goes right back to the start of her adventures with the Eighth Doctor.
I mean, still a good solid story. I'd say I had a good time with it.
Yeah. Can we say the same for Merlin Trap though? The final story.
Go back, turn away.
This is John Culshaw's debut as the 12th Doctor here. We've heard rumblings for a while that Big Finish were recasting the 12th Doctor after Jacob Dugman took on the role for a couple of box sets. But now here we are with John Culshaw in the role for a Doctor Light episode. So yeah, know that going in.
Which is a good recipe for horror with the new series, isn't it? Like Blink, 73 Yards.
Yeah, I think it can work very well when you don't have that safety net of the Doctor within a story. It can make the jeopardy feel that much more intense. It can, add that sense of danger. And here, with the way the Doctor is implemented into this story, as this eerie voice within the cave warning people to turn back. We know you should listen to the Doctor. We know that voice. But these characters are just ignoring it and pushing on anyway. And these characters, I think, are where this story falls down. Because unlike Party Favors, with its incredible little roster for guest cast, this story, the characters just aren't as likable.
they
You
hate
don't
each
care.
other. They hate each other. It's
Mm.
trying to sort of do again, like you say, party favors in terms of like relationship, but it's such a bad reading of a relationship. Like it's a toxic relationship. Get out, you know. What you got after you go cave exploring? You're gonna have a pizza. All right, you're not gonna have that pizza because you're gonna die because you're not listening to the Scottish man.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think as well, it doesn't use the cave setting
No.
enough. You don't feel the claustrophobia within this story. I mean, in some ways, the threat of it reminded me of the miniaturist.
Hmm.
I think how out there it went with it, but the miniaturist does so much more with that. And yeah, the miniaturist is a much scarier story than this one.
Yeah.
I, yeah, nothing quite came together for me, except for John Culshaw as the Doctor. I do think he made a strong debut here. And again, like he's sprinkled throughout the story, so you only get little teases of him at first, but when he came in proper and had a full monologue of sorts about halfway through the story, something clicked to me and I went, you know what? I hear it. This is the 12th Doctor. I'm really enjoying. Oh no, don't go, no! Well, and I'm left with the characters of this story instead. But yeah, John Coleshaw, I'm looking forward to where he goes with this character and the presumably box sets and ongoing adventures that we have to look forward to in hopefully the near future. You don't have to wait too long.
I'm the opposite.
Hmm.
I, yeah, I mean, I love John Coleshaw. I love his Brigadier. I love his Zephon. I like his Chameleon. Adore his Sarah Jane.
There's so many characters he has been.
Yeah, there's a whole list. But his 12th Doctor, I don't. I think he's going for a different approach to what.
Is it a bit too dead ringers for you?
I think there's a bit of an essence there, but I don't think that there's that sort of Glaswegian gravel that Capaldi has. And I think that there's an essence of Capaldi in culture with what he's doing, but I don't think there's a bite or an attack to the way he's saying the lines. I think Jacob Dudman got that aspect. So I kind of prefer Jacob Dudman in a way, which sounds a bit crazy.
Hmm.
But I'm willing to, explore more culture because,
This
these
is
can
his
only get
first
better. Yeah,
performance as well in the role. And
yeah.
we have seen how much he's improved as the Brigadier, and he made a strong start as the Brigadier.
Hmm.
I'm not disparaging his start as the Brigadier, but I think it's a role that he's grown into so much and got even better with. So hopefully for you, his 12th Doctor does improve as well, and maybe playing that role in a story properly throughout rather than a Doctor Light one can help there, and also help you hear it more and
Mm.
adjust to it more rather than just being given spits and spats of it as the story progresses.
Yeah, because I don't think this story does him any favors because it's like you say, it's quite fleeting. Like the time you've adjusted to it, he's gone, and you're back to those characters.
Yeah. I mean, also, this is completely off the wall here, but the opening titles, it's the full Capaldi theme, it's the closing title theme, just awkwardly edited on there.
Hmm.
I did, it
Is it
didn't
just to pad it
feel
out?
like a great start. Yeah, was it just to pad it out?
Because it's the shortest story, but it also can feel like the longest at the same time.
Yeah, which it's a shame. And I think overall it left a sour taste in my mouth for the box set, which
I enjoyed everything up until Merlin's trap within the box set.
I think Sea Smoke, good enough start. It's what it needs to be. Party favors above and beyond, brilliant. Cannot get enough of that. Bramble King, yeah, not too bad. Maybe would have worked better if it wasn't in a Halloween set and instead was just part of the ongoing Eighth Doctor Audacity and Charlie run. And then, yeah, Merlin's Trap. I don't think I'll be going back to that ever, to be honest. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you want spooky big finish,
Hmm.
you're not going to get it in Halloween, despite it being marketed as a scary box set. I think go elsewhere.
That's part of the issue as well, is that they've hyped that side of it up, but then it doesn't quite deliver other than party favors,
Hmm.
which is a shame because I went in really wanting to like this box set. I mean, I don't go into any release not wanting to like it,
Well, you
but
paid for it at the end of the day, you know.
yeah, exactly. We want to get our money's worth, and I think this is a set where you might not get that. It might be better off waiting for a sale on this one.
But you know what comes after Halloween?
Bonfire Night.
All right, Big Fish haven't done a Bonfire Night box set. All right, they've
Well,
got
I did do a
Bonfire of
Story
Vanities.
set. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
With the Companion Chronicles Volume 2. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're segueing. Sorry. I mean, for us now, this video and us recording it is past Bonfire Night. So
Last Bonfire Night.
this whole little tangent here is completely meaningless. But what will be coming up after this video is
Christmas.
Christmas, indeed.
Doctor Who Day technically first, and then it's Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, true.
But we've got a Christmas theme box set.
Hmm. They announced these two together, didn't they?
Yeah, these are kind of companion box sets, aren't they?
Yeah. Hmm. So hopefully the Christmassy vibes hit. I feel like Christmassy vibes are a bit easier to hit than scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Surely you can't go wrong with Christmas, can you? Can you, Big Finish?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in December.
We'll get back to you on it. But until then, there'll be plenty of other reviews and videos of all sorts coming at you. So we'll see you then.
Bye bye.